The sun shone brightly, casting a golden hue over the sprawling ranch. The air was crisp, and the sky was a perfect canvas of blue, unmarred by a single cloud. It was a day that promised new beginnings and endless possibilities. On this radiant day, a new foal was born. He was named Thunderbolt, a name that would soon become synonymous with power and grace. From the moment he took his first breath, there was something undeniably special about him. His coat was the color of a stormy sky, a deep, rich hue that seemed to capture the very essence of a brewing tempest. It was a coat that set him apart from the other foals, a coat that hinted at the raw power and energy within him. His eyes were full of fire, burning with an intensity that spoke of an unyielding spirit and a fierce determination. They were eyes that seemed to see beyond the present, eyes that held the promise of greatness. He was born to run, to feel the wind in his mane and the earth beneath his hooves. From his very first steps, it was clear that Thunderbolt was destined for a life of speed and freedom.
Thunderbolt spent his early days on the ranch, exploring every nook and cranny of his new home. The ranch was a vast expanse of rolling hills and wide open spaces, a perfect playground for a young foal with boundless energy. He was surrounded by rolling hills and wide open spaces, a landscape that seemed to stretch on forever. It was a place where he could run to his heart's content, where he could chase the horizon and dream of adventures yet to come. He would race the wind with his mother, their hooves pounding the earth in perfect harmony. Together they would gallop across the fields, their spirits soaring as they embraced the freedom of the open land. He would play with the other foals, their laughter and playful antics filling the air. They would chase each other through the fields, their youthful exuberance a testament to the joy of life on the ranch. He was full of life and energy, a whirlwind of motion and excitement. Every day was an adventure, every moment a chance to explore and discover the world around him.
As he grew, Thunderbolt's strength was clear. His muscles rippled beneath his sleek coat, a testament to his growing power and vitality. He was becoming a force to be reckoned with, a young horse with a bright future ahead of him. He was bigger than the other foals, his size and strength setting him apart. He was faster too, his speed a blur of motion that left the others in his wake. It was clear that Thunderbolt was no ordinary foal. He had a spirit that couldn't be contained, a wild, untamed energy that drove him to push his limits and test his boundaries. He was a force of nature, a whirlwind of power and grace. He was destined for greatness, a future that seemed as boundless as the sky above. His every move was a testament to his potential, a promise of the incredible things yet to come.
The ranchers saw something special in Thunderbolt. They watched him with keen eyes, noting his strength, his speed, and his unyielding spirit. They knew that he was no ordinary horse, that he was destined for something extraordinary. They knew he was different. He had a spark, a fire that set him apart from the others. It was a spark that promised greatness, a spark that hinted at the incredible potential within him. He had the potential to be a champion, a horse that would leave his mark on the world. The ranchers could see it in his every move, in the way he carried himself with confidence and grace. Thunderbolt was a horse like no other, a horse destined for greatness. Thunderbolt thrived in the freedom of the ranch. The vast open spaces allowed him to explore and experience the world in a way that few horses ever could. The gentle breeze, the rustling of the leaves, and the endless horizon became his playground. Every day was a new adventure, and he embraced it with a spirit that was both wild and free. He grew stronger with each passing day. The rigorous routines and the natural environment contributed to his physical development. His muscles became more defined, and his stamina increased. The ranch provided him with the perfect conditions to build his strength, and he took full advantage of it. His diet was carefully monitored, ensuring he received all the nutrients he needed to grow into a powerful and majestic horse. He would kick up his heels in sheer joy, displaying a playful side that was infectious. His energy was boundless, and he often engaged in playful antics that brought smiles to everyone who watched. Whether it was a spontaneous sprint or a playful nudge to a fellow horse, Thunderbolt's zest for life was evident in every move he made. He would race across the fields with a speed that left onlookers in awe. His powerful legs carried him effortlessly across the terrain, and his mane flowed like a banner in the wind. Each stride was a testament to his strength and agility, and he seemed to revel in the sheer joy of running. The fields were his domain, and he ruled them with a grace that was unparalleled. He was a sight to behold, a magnificent creature in full stride. His coat gleamed in the sunlight, and his eyes sparkled with intelligence and spirit. Every movement was a dance, a symphony of power and grace. Those who had the privilege of witnessing him in motion were often left speechless, captivated by his beauty and majesty.
His natural athleticism was undeniable. He could jump fences with ease, and his performances at the rodeo were nothing short of spectacular. His agility and strength made him a standout, and he quickly became a favorite among the spectators. His ability to perform complex maneuvers with such ease and precision was a testament to his training and natural talent. He moved with a grace and power that set him apart from other horses. His movements were fluid and elegant, yet there was an underlying strength that was impossible to ignore. He seemed to glide across the ground, his hooves barely touching the earth. It was as if he was born to run, and every gallop was a celebration of his innate abilities. He was fearless and determined. He embraced every challenge with a fierce resolve. Whether it was facing a new obstacle or mastering a difficult maneuver, Thunderbolt approached it with unwavering confidence. His determination was evident in his eyes, and his spirit was unbreakable. He thrived on challenges, and each one only made him stronger and more resilient.
The ranchers recognized his potential as a bucking horse. They saw in him a rare combination of strength, agility, and spirit. They began to train him, honing his natural abilities and preparing him for the rodeo. The bond between Thunderbolt and the ranchers grew stronger with each passing day, built on mutual respect and trust. His spirit and agility were perfect for the rodeo. He had the heart of a champion and the skills to match. His performances were electrifying, and he quickly gained a reputation as one of the best. The crowds loved him, and he thrived on their energy and excitement. Every rodeo was a new opportunity to showcase his talents, and he never disappointed. They knew he could be a star. His potential was limitless, and his future was bright. With each victory, Thunderbolt's legend grew, and he became a symbol of excellence and determination. The ranchers were proud of him, and they knew that he was destined for greatness. Thunderbolt was not just a horse. He was a champion, a true embodiment of the spirit of the rodeo. Training began. The sun had just started to rise over the horizon, casting a golden hue across the ranch. The air was crisp, filled with the sounds of nature waking up. The trainers, seasoned and ready, gathered their equipment and prepared for the day's work. This was the beginning of Thunderbolt's journey. It was a slow and patient process. Each step was deliberate, every movement calculated. The trainers knew that rushing would only set them back. They spent hours just getting Thunderbolt accustomed to their presence, letting him sniff and explore, building a foundation of trust. Thunderbolt was a wild spirit. He resisted the saddle. His eyes were wide with fear and defiance, muscles tensed and ready to bolt. The trainers spoke to him in soothing tones, their hands gentle yet firm, guiding him through the unfamiliar sensations. He bucked with all his might. Each attempt to place the saddle was met with fierce resistance. Thunderbolt's powerful legs kicked out, his body twisting and turning in a desperate bid for freedom. But the trainers were patient, never losing their calm.
The trainers were experienced. They had seen many horses like Thunderbolt, each with their own unique challenges. They knew that breaking a horse's spirit was not the goal. Instead, they aimed to harness his energy, to turn his wildness into strength. They were firm but kind. They earned Thunderbolt's trust. Through consistent, gentle handling, they showed him that they were not a threat. They rewarded his small victories, a step forward, a moment of calm with soft words and gentle pats. They taught him to channel his energy. It was a partnership. Thunderbolt began to understand that the trainers were there to guide him, not to control him. He learned to respond to their cues, to move with them rather than against them.
Thunderbolt learned to work with the rider. The bond between horse and rider grew stronger with each passing day. The rider's touch became a signal, a guide through the complex dance of the rodeo. He learned the rhythm of the rodeo. The once wild and untamed horse now moved with grace and precision. He understood the timing, the cues, the flow of the event. Thunderbolt was no longer just a wild horse, he was a performer. He was becoming a true bucking horse. His powerful bucks were now controlled, his energy focused. Thunderbolt had transformed from a wild spirit into a rodeo star, ready to take on any challenge that came his way. Word spread about Thunderbolt. He became a rodeo legend. He thrilled crowds across the country.
He was a fan favorite. He was known for his power. He was known for his grace. He was known for his heart. He never gave up. He was a true champion.
Thunderbolt's fame grew with each rodeo. He was featured in magazines. He was on television. He was a star. Time passed. Thunderbolt grew older. He retired from the rodeo. He had earned his rest. He had become a legend.
He spent his days in a peaceful pasture. He watched the young horses play. He shared his wisdom. He was content.
Thunderbolt's legacy lived on. He inspired a generation of rodeo horses. He showed the world what it meant to be a champion.
Subscribe and turn on all notifications so you don't miss any of our weekly uploads.